Okay, in this video, we're about to break down 21 medium length hairstyles that are going to be both trending this winter and into 2025. The other day, I saw this article from Southern Living that they broke down 25 different medium length hairstyles. I'm only doing 21 of the 25. If you want to actually check out the whole article, I'm going to go ahead and link it in the description below. So if you've got medium length hair, you're going to want to watch this. Thank you to Blooming for sponsoring this video. Okay, so I am here with my wife, Deanna, and we're about to break these down.
Yeah, I feel like we need a drink for this.
I feel like I've got my water, so.
Or it should be a drinking game. Turn it into a drinking game.
Maybe this should be, yeah. Anyway, hairstyle number one is the blunt lob. You know what a lob is, obviously.
Yes.
All it is a long bob. Essentially, all in all, a one length blunt lob.
Okay.
I feel like this has been popular for like a decade now, so I don't know why it wouldn't be popular. I like it. The only thing is, if you've got a long face, it's a little bit harder, or if you've got really fine hair, your hair might not actually hold length at this length, so a little shorter might be a little bit more advantageous for you. But all in all, I mean, I like a lob.
I mean, I have a bob, so I like it.
You started on a long bob.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, it was kind of like a graduation. It got shorter and shorter, and I actually started liking it more and more.
I feel like these are really great for being able to have a bob shape but be able to pull your hair back. The thing that you want to know about lobs in general is they grow out really quickly. Once they start breaking your shoulder like they are here, it's going to start flipping out a lot of times and thinking, oh, well, you know, this is great length, and then all of a sudden, 3 weeks later, it's hitting your shoulders, flipping out, and you feel like you need to get it trimmed. So just because it's a little bit longer doesn't necessarily mean that it's less maintenance. I take that in mind. Number two, wispy layers. So it's just a medium length cut with wispy layers. I don't know where the names wispy layers come from versus just layering in general, if I'm honest.
I like it. It looks like, I mean, in both pictures here, it's like face framing layers, almost like curtain bangs, is what I see.
So what they're saying about it is that it's face framing layers, longer layers in general. The only thing I don't know that I agree with is they say that it's great for thin hair to make it look thicker. It is, but layers in general aren't necessarily gonna make thin hair look thicker. It's very much the way they're done. Face framing layers, absolutely. Like if your hair is a medium length and you've got face framing layers, full on layering in the front, fine hair, it's gonna make it look thicker. It's gonna give it a little bit more volume, lighten it up, it's gonna look stronger, and it's not actually gonna look thinner. Layers in the back, depending on how they're done, you either make it look fuller and thicker or make it look thinner. Three, blunt layers.
What does blunt layers
mean?
mean?
I'm so sorry.
That makes no sense.
So I think what they're saying is blunt layers speaks to the way the layering is actually cut.
Used to go into the hairstylist and I wanted layers. I would literally say, because I didn't know, I just want 2 layers.
A layer, yeah, or we hear that all the time. A layer or this, and you don't realize like it's not. You don't want one layer because you would just have a helmet. It looked like a bowl cut and then hair that hung.
But that's kind of what it reminds me of.
So there's a layer right here. So there's some layering going on up in here.
Got it.
Very minimal, but there's some up there. The part that you're seeing is this right there.
Yeah.
That's like the heavier line that you're probably referring to, right? So you do feel like you look a little bit of like a bob, and then you have this hair that kind of hangs there, right? But anytime you've got like a lot of layering down here, okay, and then you've got some shorter pieces that are up through here, anytime you have like that, that's at this length is a little bit more reminiscent of like a wolf cut. Point being is that regardless of where the layers are cut, what we're really referring to here is the way they're approached, which is blunt versus blended. Blunt layers in general, I would say, are pretty unsafe to deal with because more often than not, they're gonna look like choppy pieces that just end up looking odd.
Yeah.
Stay away from them. There's so many other ways to make your hair look thicker and fuller that don't have the side effects potentially that this would have. I wouldn't even go this direction. Okay, long layers.
I like that.
I love long layers actually. This is a big thing right now. Long layers and the overall kind of like volume bend kind of shape. That's a cool look. I mean, this is very like round brush. It's not so sleek. It's got a lot of volume, a lot of playfulness.
Would you say the long layers, they're mostly like face framing in the front?
No. You never want the layers in the front to be longer than your shortest layer in the back. You always want it to be either the same length or shorter, or it'll look like you have a bob and then hair, and it'll look like the one you just saw and you will not like it. I think this is great. I mean, especially if you've got a medium to thick, dense texture of hair, 100% you've got some length. This is gonna give it a ton of movement, a ton of shape, a lot of options, like pulling it back, you're gonna be able to have some face framing layers that kind of come down. Like, this is all of the things, 1000% on anybody that's got hair this length. Moving on, sleek and straight.
I like the sleek and straight on the bob. I don't necessarily know that I like the sleek and straight when it's long, because it just doesn't really have a lot of movement, at least for me, because my hair is very straight, and so it can just kind of look just very boring.
I'm not gonna get into the video that I already created about this and I'm just getting nothing but hate about. You know my take. It's longer, medium length or whatever, one length, sleek. I think it's a look. It can look very polished. It can look really sophisticated and cool. I dig it for people that can rock it. I'm sorry, this isn't an opinion. This is a fact. One length like this does not have the ability to accentuate things about your face shape like layering will allow it to do. Because by nature, it's just longer and heavier. And it's just not gonna be able to do that. It's not that they look bad. It's not that you shouldn't have them. It's just that you should recognize that these are meant to do this. And that's what they're there for. Next, moving on, wavy layers and caramel ribbons.
Wavy layers and caramel ribbons.
The names.
I like it because I love waves and I like the caramel, so it's like some highlights.
So I 100% agree, and I think this looks really good on dark hair. Caramel is really pretty because the base of that tone, most often, is a gold base. It's not a super red base.
I think that'd be good, like if you have like naturally dark hair, not with any grays or anything like that, the grow out would be really good too, because it's just, I would think you're not gonna get that harsh line because it's kind of more forgiving.
Definitely. So let me amp this up one step further. If you do something like this, work with me here, but if you see right here, do you see how dark that piece looks compared to the other pieces? It's super minor, but that piece compared to like this piece right there, this is a little bit darker, and then you've got the lighter pieces, you know, that go over. If you've got just like medium brown hair that's a little bit on the lighter side, like this right in here, do the caramel highlights, but then, this is gonna sound insane, go underneath and put thick black lowlights. And you're gonna be like, what are you talking about? So what it does is it creates this look like you see like right in here, where it just looks like there's a little bit more like dimension to it, and it makes all of the other tones pop more. It's a pretty color. My 2 cents on it. Agree, disagree?
Agree.
Okay, modern shag. You don't like modern shag? Modern shag just means a lot of layers. It means medium length with a ton of layers at the bottom, overly layered for the most part. Makes the hair look kind of thin. Thinner hair can look great with this, but you bring that length up. Don't have it this long because it's gonna look really piecey at the bottom. But the bonus to this is that because there's so many layers at the bottom, it's supposed to look a little bit thinner and more like textured. And if you've already got thin, fine hair, then it already looks like that a little bit. So this just makes that look kind of on purpose. But I like them. That's a lot of movement. Great if you've got wave in your hair, especially if you've got medium to thick hair. These are awesome. Curly cut with baby bangs.
Oh, yeah.
Very.
That's very Portland.
Yes.
When I'm like, what do the kids say nowadays? Oh, hipsters. No, that's so like out.
It's a hipster vibe for sure. I think it's just such a very specific look that if you don't wear this, it's gonna wear you. It is great in some cases because there's a lot of textures. You have multi-textural curl where it's like very straight around the hairline or like even in the nape, and it's very curly in other places. So if you got something like that, then great. That kind of like makes these straight pieces in the front look purposeful. To be completely honest, I think I like that actually a little bit more than this. I actually like the little curl there. It still blends in a little bit, but it really opens the face up a little bit more.
Yeah. As I say, I like messy hair and I like big hair. It just seems a little too messy and disheveled for me.
This is very much like, you gotta be able to rock it.
Yeah.
If you put this haircut on me, could you imagine? I'd be arrested like 15 minutes into having that hairstyle.
Look in the mirror, I'm sure Joseph could put it on.
Moving on, the classic lob. So this is just a layered lob. Again, they're probably gonna be in fashion for a while. There's always gonna be some like version of a bob that's gonna be in fashion. And then one other great thing about this is without having a lot of bulk down by the sides, you get a little bit more of that accentuation of cheekbones, and you can get some more accentuating of the jaw structure. Actually, if you want to take this one step further to accentuate the jaw structure even more, you can do what I've been doing, which is actually, come here with me real quick. I need to go somewhere very specific to show you this. 60 days ago or so, I started using another tool. Actually, that tool is right here. So I started using this, but let me show you this. I gotta go to the exact same place so I can get the right lighting. Okay, now we're in the same spot as we were for the other before and after photos that I took, so you can see the difference. So I just used this morning, actually about an hour ago, and I used it on this side and this side, so the whole face and the jaw structure for about 3 minutes, a little over a minute and a half on each side. And I've been doing that every morning for about the past 60 days. Now, you can see right now what it looks like after today. But then also, here's a photo of the first day that I used it. Now here's a photo of me after I used it for 30 days. And then again, now you can see me today after using it for another 30 days. Now I will say there was a difference between the first 30 days. The first 30 days I was actually using the Blooming Pro 1. Now this is the next version they have, so this is the newer version, the 2.0. And so I've been using this for the past 30 days. The basic difference is that they say that the lift is more obvious with the 2.0 and that people notice a reduced double chin, tighter skin, decreased puffiness, all the things, lifted face a little bit quicker than they do with the original Face Pro. And there's a warmth on the anti-aging setting, which improves blood flow and oxygen to the skin, which can help with collagen production and can help reduce wrinkles. There's different settings, but I use the green setting because that's what's supposed to help to kind of define the jaw structure, and that's really what my goal has been. And I just go ahead and apply my normal skin routine, a little bit of moisturizer, and then I go over both sides. And again, I actually do this 5 days a week for about 3 minutes each time. And I do 1.5 minutes on one side of my face and then another 1.5 minutes on the other side of my face. Now, if you hold the silver part, this little area right here, you don't have to press it down, but just actually making contact with your finger, that kind of creates a loop, and what'll end up happening is when you apply it to your face, it'll actually vibrate. Now, I actually like this. It's a little bit of a spa feeling or whatever, but I also think that it helps with a little bit of lymph node drainage. Now, I don't know this for sure. I haven't looked into it that deep, but I do believe it does, because I notice that after I use it, I always get this like swallowing where I'm like, I gotta swallow a little bit. I can almost feel like things draining a little bit. Now, I did reach out to Bloom and ask them if I could get some sort of discount for you, and they did approve it. There is a link in the description which will actually get you $200 off, and if you buy 2 of them, it'll actually get you an additional $50 off. So if you do see a difference and you want to give it a shot, definitely use that link. And if you've got maybe somebody on your list that you haven't gotten a gift for yet for the holidays, it might be a good option for them too. Save you a little bit of cash there as well. Full fringe and Piecey layers. I dig this. This is actually more like a wolf cut in some ways. And what you're talking about, there's a lot of layering, very broken up, but a stronger bang. Like, if you've got that kind of rock star flair and you've got that texture of hair and you can do this, 100%.
You think that'd be good for fine hair?
The hair texture here is fine, but there's a fair amount of it, so it's not thin. So yes, it could work. If it's board straight, it's gonna be way harder to get this to work.
Or you're gonna have to do some styling and
a lot of it.
Put some curl in it.
Also, if it's really fine, depending on how fine it is, you just wanna bring that length up a little bit higher towards the neckline until it looks thick enough that, I mean, it's okay if it looks like piecey at the bottom because there's pieciness down there. But if it starts to look really scraggly down there, that's when it gets a little bit too thin, and you need to bring that length up a little bit until it gets to the point where it actually just looks piecey like this does and not like overly shattered.
Yeah.
Deep side part, look at you already.
That was not even intentional. I just happened to be parting it over, and then I'm like, oh, well, I'll leave it like this today.
You didn't even realize that you're fashion forward right now. You're
fashion forward.
You're ahead of the trend. I like these for volume on the top.
Especially second day hair and third day hair, when you're just like, my hair is just kind of, then you just.
What about as we age and
yeah. I didn't notice that until I was styling my hair and I parted it over and I'm like, wait a minute, what's this recession thing going on? I need some Rogaine or some red light therapy.
She just mentioned it today, and if you do a severe side part like this, you're basically parting it right at that recession. So you're gonna see, if that's there, you're gonna see it more.
Yeah.
Just food for thought. Okay, smooth, flipped under ends, not a fan. Sorry.
No.
Immediately no for me.
No, immediately no.
Immediately no.
Oh, you sound like Justin Bieber.
Oh.
Don't care.
Yeah, immediately no. Immediately no. Immediately no.
I'm gonna say it. I feel like it's a haircut and style that will age you.
I didn't say that. I don't disagree with you. So it doesn't mean that this like bob is a bad thing, right? But if you just took this and made these ends just go like this, instead of curling under like this, it would look, in my opinion, it would look 10 times better.
Yeah.
It would swing, meaning like it would move better. It would look dramatic. Overall, it would look more youthful. And it's just such a small difference. I know that there is like a trend now with like a little bit more of like the Italian bob. This specific version of this is not it. This doesn't look as bad, but it's because the length is a little bit longer and there's a lot more movement and texture everywhere else. But just straight and then sausage roll, not my game. No. Moving on. Asymmetrical shoulder length. So asymmetrical bobs.
Don't like it. Don't like it.
If you can wear it, rock it. But for most people, to me, I'm just like, whatever. I'm not like surprised by them or impressed by them. It's just like one side. I mean, I can do that by accident.
Yeah.
I leave your hair longer on one side all the time. So, I mean, come on. I do this when I'm not even trying. I think most stylists have a long side. Most of us will.
Like, I think if you had like shorter hair that had more geometric shape to it and it was asymmetrical, then it would look intentional.
Yeah.
But when it's just like, oh, it's like a long bob and it looks like you just forgot to cut that side off.
It could be that, there's just this little piece right there that just feels like it, maybe that doesn't make sense, and that's what's drawing my eye down and making me like not love it.
Yeah.
And then it's just a little heavy in here, so it's just doing this for me instead of like lifting the eye that way. It's like usually these lines should. So maybe if there's more volume up here, this kind of came down a little bit and then it cut right in here and this was gone, maybe that wouldn't you know, that would be shaped a little bit better, and maybe like I'd like it a little bit more.
Yeah.
But to each his own, man. Do your thing. All right, grown out glam.
It's grown out glam.
And so what they're saying is you're trying to grow out your hair, right? You've got that line of demarcation because you're all gray. Basically, you layer it, break it up a lot more so that line of demarcation blends a little bit more. So it looks kind of more like this, and then the gray doesn't seem like there's such a strong line. I love these looks, but I don't think these are specific to what that article is speaking of so much.
Like, I think that, you know, you embrace your gray, or some people will think like gray is for older people, or if you don't care anymore, if like, no, you can rock a gray and you can have a rad haircut that like makes it just pop.
Okay, get in the comment section right now. Get your keyboards out because you're about to get some warriors on here. Gray hair by nature just stereotypically tends to make people feel like you look older. Colored hair looks younger. It is what it is. I didn't start that, it just happened. So the thing is, if you've got gray hair, if you combine that with a really like edgy cut and you've got a cool style to you, it doesn't look older anymore. It looks rad. It looks like actually really striking. But if you take that gray hair and you kind of wear like a very like lifeless style or something that doesn't have a lot of like flair to it, just kind of basic.
It's like all one length.
Then yeah, it can have that effect. It can start to like bring things down, just kind of like, But it's not the hair that does it, it's the way you wear it, right? I don't even, why did I even say it?
I don't know. You're entitled to your opinion and they're entitled to theirs, so it's okay.
100%. Yeah. Sun-kissed curly bangs. I actually like this. So it's just highlights on bangs, really. It's curly hair with bangs and highlights. Articles just try to come up with names for things.
They try to, so some of these things are just like.
You know, there is a realm of popularity and like trend to this for overall shapes, but also
and like, sometimes people just need topics to come up with for their articles.
Or their videos.
Or their videos.
Curly hair, highlights, and lowlights, huge fan. There's nothing to me that looks better on curly hair, really curly hair like this, than some dimension in the color. Because curly hair is based on dimension, it's based on movement. That's what it does so well. So amplifying that only makes it look so much better. Ombre with base framing layers.
Yes, I do like that.
This is like been around for a long time. To me, this is nothing new. It looks great.
I love
I'm a huge fan of Ombre, right?
Yeah.
Ombre, when it came on the scene, it was good, but it's gotten so much better over the time, and the color and the approach has gotten so much more refined. It's really strong, and if you get somebody, a stylist that knows how to do it, it takes grow out and makes it look amazing. Okay, barely there layers. The names, dude, the names.
Can we just go on to the next one? I mean, like.
But it looks good, though. I mean, like, so.
It does, but it's the names are silly. It's like they're grasping at straws, like.
Yes, people are just, and that's what happens, right, Silas? We just try to come up with names because you want to be different. It's like, no, it's okay to just say that this is like internally layered. But these are great, really, really, really dense, fine hair. This stuff works actually really well because we did yours. You want it to look one length, but you still need some movement and texture. Barely there. It's like go inside, layer it out, and then leave the top looking one length, but you still give it some movement and some shape. We did it for your hair for a while. Yep. You loved it.
Yep.
There you go.
True.
Oh my, no.
What is that, Bronde?
No.
Bronde, Balayage, and Piecey Bronde.
No.
So brown, blonde.
So what this is, Balayage, or Ombre, which is like, they're basically the same thing, with Piecey Layers.
Yeah.
Enough about the name, because the name is ridiculous. As far as an overall look, yeah, I mean, like, I can get behind it, right? Like, it looks good, it's gonna work well, and all it is basically like, hey, medium length, get some light layering in there, and do some different color, warm tone, caramel, balayage, or ombre style stuff. Put color and you're good.
Yeah.
But to it, I cannot do the Bronde. No, stop it. Shaggy Lob, it's just an extremely layered lob, or also known as a shag.
A shorter shag.
Exactly.
I'm sorry, I'm getting a little irritated with all these names.
Do you see what I deal with on a daily basis? Do you understand why I get so annoyed now?
I'm like, this is ridiculous.
Aside from the name, it's a great look. Yeah. I dig this look. Yeah. I dig a shag. I used to not love them, but I dig it. You know, like this. A lot of layers, a lot of movement, great again for medium texture.
They're kind of growing on me, and I'm like, maybe that would be something that I might want to try if my hair gets longer again.
You won't.
No?
You won't. No,
because my hair's so straight.
Exactly. You won't like it. So if you've got a lot, like you, of fine textured hair, but you're dense amount of it, and it's bored straight. It's not that you can't get this look. It is a lot more work than you're probably gonna want to spend.
Yeah.
You think you're getting something that's easy. It looks very unstyled, but it is a lot of work. Moving on, Shaggy Cut with face trimming highlights. You know, same thing, it's just face trimming highlights. It's Ombre. Like, I feel like so many of these are so like similar, but this is a good look. And honestly, like, I don't love bangs like this, if I'm honest. Like, that's a style, it's a thing. To each his own, you know what I mean? Like,
I watch people on like Instagram where they'll do that. And it's always weird to me because I always see the hairstylist doing it to their client and they're like this, and then they hold it and then they spray it. And I'm like, and then they're like, don't move. I need to take a picture. I'm like, her hair's not staying like that like 5 minutes after she leaves.
A lot of the stuff that I talk about on my channel, I'll say like, here are facts about the way hair functions, and then there's opinions. Opinions, like, I don't love this. You can be like, I love it, cool, more power to you. Not my game, but whatever, that's fine. But yeah, I dig it. Volume 3 ways, I don't even know what that means. I have to look. Like, what the hell is volume 3 ways?
Volume 3 ways.
What, like, that's another stupid name. The idea is that you change the tone, the color, right? A little lighter, give it the illusion of more volume. Okay. You're bringing the cut up to give it an illusion of more volume, and then you're styling it in a way to give it an illusion of more volume. That's not really a trend or a style as much as that's just simply
simply a technique. So I shampoo my hair and then I blow dry it and I use texturizing spray. So I've got volume 3 ways too. Yeah. I'm getting a little cheeky, a little snarky.
The idea of lightening your hair in some way to give it the illusion of more volume, that can work, but also, if I'm honest, if you've got a little bit of thin hair, usually going darker is gonna make your hair look denser. So you can have lightness at the ends, but at the root, at the scalp, you want it to actually be a little bit darker, and that's gonna create the illusion of more density. I don't care what kind of hair you have. If you bring the length up, it's gonna get bigger, and it's gonna look like it's got a tiny bit more volume. Not necessarily a lot. Give yourself thick hair, especially thick curly hair, and it's gonna be really pronounced. Layer it and add color. Style for volume. Alrighty. There are 21 different styles that are gonna be trending. That article is linked in the description below, so go ahead, check it out if you want to learn a little bit more. Again, I do want to say a big thank you to Blue Mean for sponsoring this video, and make sure you check them out in the link below. Anyway, with all that said, go ahead and comment below, tell us what you think, and then if you want to learn more, check out this video right here, and I'll see you over there. Bye.